tasty, wholesome and at a reasonable price.
Food quality is food that hasn't been adulterated with and it hasn't had chemicals added to it. It's fresh, it's either from the sea or from the garden or from a butcher.
Quality food to me is food that has provenance to it, provenance that I can trace back and actually understand its accountability, so that I know that the producer of the food is getting, a fair market deal for that food.
Food quality is getting good, proper local produce. So get the best quality ingredients you can from local suppliers and supporting your local community.
The main problem identified in regards to food quality is a perceived relationship to price. Research demonstrates the most common perception is that the high quality food is equated to higher prices. This is evidenced through the media. However, our research shows that it is possible to consume quality food at a relatively low cost, busting the myth on the relationship between quality and price.
It all depends where you're eating, so the quality and the price.
Yeah.
You can go to somewhere that's quite cheap, it's good quality, or you can go somewhere that's expensive and poor quality.
The price, there's not an awful lot of difference between paying those few extra pennies for a good quality local ingredient rather than having the food miles and supporting large suppliers that you don't want to be. We'd rather pay the extra few pennies, but all our chicken on site is free range. It's all free range chicken, we don't have any other chicken on site. It's worth paying the extra premium for having the quality produce to serve to the customer. We've found over the years that people are willing to pay those few extra pennies for a quality ingredient and to know what you're getting and where it's come from.
You pay more for good food, but we don't mind that at all. No, we're happy paying a little bit more, most definitely.
Don't spend a huge amount of their income on food. It's very low in terms of that, but actually it's the stuff we put inside our bodies. It's quite possibly the most important thing we do in a day, and you compare that with the amount people spend on entertainment, or they spend on rent, or they spend on heating or whatever, and actually a greater proportion of our expenditure, and that we should be spending less on on consumer durables or downloads or whatever.
The problem being is that cheap food is cheap, and it's too cheap, which makes it look like the good food is expensive.
Evidence has shown the relationship between price and quality to be a diverse and complex issue. This means that there is no straightforward solution, which therefore allows for a variety of approaches.
We, surprisingly, when we go out delivering, our customers are the whole range of backgrounds. Basically, we deliver to manor houses, to static caravans, and everyone in between. So I think certain people, I think it just depends on how people think about what they used to fuel themselves with, really.
As a company, we're cheaper than supermarkets. In the organic produce, it's not as expensive as people think.
What tends to happen is the fish that people tend not to eat, less demand, so you've got a lower price, you've got less people bidding for them at the market. So things like your megrim sole just here, they're a lot cheaper because a lot of people don't eat them. Also like pollock as opposed to cod. So white fish, it could be just the same sort of quality.
You don't have to spend a lot of money on quality food. You can buy liver and other sorts of offal, and vegetables are pretty cheap, really.
I don't think there's a magic bullet, but I do think there's some really interesting things going on with food at the moment. So people are much more aware of food and the consequences of food production and the ethics of food production, and I think so. Making sure that sort of movement continues to grow, I think, will lead us in the right direction. But as I said, it's not a magic bullet. I also think that people, the governments and the supermarkets have to take responsibility for pricing food at its real cost, paying farmers properly, ensuring that environmental regulations are kept in, and environmental standards are maintained. Because without that, actually, the food we're getting is unrealistically cheap.
Possible solutions include education, buying through food boxes, and eating unfashionable cuts of meat or alternative types of fish. Education, however, seems the most promising, teaching people to understand that high quality is not necessarily expensive.